Hi, I'm Jill, if we haven't met. I'm a movement and wellness educator and an intuitive eating coach. And in today's video, I have a Pilates sequence for beginners. So it's fantastic if you're brand new to Pilates, but it's also great if you would just like to get back to basics and maybe clean up some messy habits that you've gotten into. You'll just need your mat and a hand towel. So we're going to get started here, and I look forward to sharing it with you, and I hope you enjoy it. Either be sitting cross-legged or kneeling like I am. I prefer kneeling. And we are going to start by investigating our deep core, our lower abdominal muscles, and our lower back a bit in a 4-point tabletop position. And because that involves some weight bearing on our wrists, I thought it would be nice if we started by just some gentle movement in our hands, wrists, and forearms. So just join me, bring your hands up and palms facing me, and we're just going to start with a gentle open and close action, allowing everything to just open slowly and then close slowly. And as you open in particular, make sure that you're not wanting to over open and overextend any of your finger joints. So it's just a nice, soft, functional hand. Even when it opens, it still has a little bit of a curve, a little bit of a dome sensation to it, maybe like you're wrapping and hugging a basketball. And just take a few more of those. And rest. Just give your hands a little bit of a shake out. And then we are going to go into some finger spirals. So just bring your hands back up into your kind of line of vision in front of your chest. And let's start with our thumbs. Take a few circles. And then we're going to reverse those circles. And move into your index fingers. And reverse it for a few. You might even notice the tops of your shoulders getting warm as you support the weight of your arms here, and moving into your your middle fingers. And reverse the circle. And your ring fingers. And reverse. And your pinkies, and reverse, and bring your fingers together, interlaced, and let's take some figure eights. Just pick a direction, any direction, it doesn't matter, just allowing all the bones to glide, and then reversing. And then we're going to do a little bit of mind-body training. So just open your hands and then reverse your grip, opposite hand on top. And take some more figure eights. Again, just pick a direction, it doesn't matter. And reverse that same movement sequence, just in another direction. And come to rest, just one more gentle shake out. You can even turn your palms up and give them a gentle shake. Notice that you have to support to even find a shaking motion, and then just rest. So before we come on to all fours, I just want you to physically take your hand, and maybe both hands, and just place them on your lower tummy. And just take a moment to make another brain-body connection that we are going to organize and focus our thoughts from our lower abdomen to begin with today. So deep in your lower abdomen, you have your transverse abdominis and your psoas muscles, and that all, like your transverse abdominis wraps around like a corset and connects into your spine as well. So we're going to be focusing on those connections as we get started here. So take those connections with you that you've established and come on over onto all fours with your hands under your shoulders and your knees under your hips. And take just a moment to look at your hands and make sure that that work that you've done through your fingertips has stayed intact, that they are gently elongated. And maybe you're going to find a gentle sensation of some stretch through the arches of both feet. And then just draw your attention to your lower tummy once again. And see if you can, on an inhale, just allow your belly to relax and hang heavy like a warm cow belly. But it doesn't alter the shape of your spine. And then as you exhale, your lower abdominal muscles are going to come up and in and hug deep within the front of your spine. So again, as you find an inhale just on your own time, see if you can allow your lower belly to soften and hang, but without changing the shape of your spine. And exhale, draw everything up and in. Let's take two more. Find a gentle inhale to soften and hang that lower tummy. I find that for a lot of us, it's harder to actually release it than to engage it, and both are equally important. We don't want it to be constantly stuck in the on position or in the off position. We want it to be kind of responsive. And just take one more exhale, drawing everything up and in on your own time. And inhale, let everything just soften and settle and keep the spine the same shape. Now let's add some movement to it. So as you exhale, you're going to curl your tailbone under and flatten your lower tummy. So it is like cat-cow from yoga, but we're not involving the upper body just yet. We're really focusing on the pelvic movement. So again, you're going to exhale and draw your tailbone under, widen and flatten the front of your lower abdominal wall. And release back to neutral. So one more time in that direction. Exhale. Scoop your tailbone under, flatten your lower tummy. And find neutral. Let's reverse it, but let's take a rest first. So go ahead and sit back on your lower legs, take the weight off of your wrists, and you can just fidget or shake or whatever you need to for a second. For just one more pathway of motion, the reverse of that, so some spinal extension or cow spine. So setting your 4-point position up nice and cleanly, hands under shoulders, knees under hips, sensing a connection between the tip of your head and your tailbone. And then see if you can reverse that lower spine a little bit. So you're going to have tailbone lifts and sitting bones get wide, and then coming back to more of a neutral. It's not a huge motion. I'll just keep moving through it as I give you some pointers. So in this direction, most of us tend to be a little bit tighter, I find. And so you might not find that you have a lot of extension yet, or it might not feel like a safe place for you to go. It feels maybe like odd. So just start really small and slow and start to trust that range of motion. And then we're going to connect the two together. So we have exhale, tailbone comes under, sitting bones curl under and get nice and narrow. And then reversing that, sitting bones get wide and tailbone lifts. You could also think of it as sad puppy, happy puppy, sad puppy, happy puppy. And then you're just going to give your tailbone a little bit of a shake side to side, and then sit back and rest. Shake your hands out, and then just take a moment to keep those connections in your body, your brain connected to those connections that you've made deep in your lower tummy and lower back. And then you're going to roll over onto your back. And now your towel is going to support the weight of your head. So if you have any tightness or restriction in your upper body, just take a moment to get your towel folded appropriately. You might need more or less. And then let's just start with our feet flat on the ground. And we're going to sense that same motion. So clean pelvic motion is kind of the essence of where everything starts, not just in Pilates, but in any clean movement pattern. So that same movement pattern that we have of tailbone under and tailbone lifts, we've just changed our relationship to gravity, so it's going to feel a bit different. So we're going to experience it now in this relationship to gravity. So we have an exhale to curl your tailbone up and flatten your lower back towards the floor. And an inhale to restore that little bit of natural lumbar curve, lower back curve. And again, exhale, curve that tailbone up and flatten your lower back. And release back to neutral. Let's reverse it. So now we have tailbone lifts. You could also think of it as pouring water off of your pubic bone and then coming back to neutral, and pouring water off of your pubic bone and coming back to neutral, and pour water off of your pubic bone and come back to neutral. And let's connect the two. So you're going to pour water towards your belly button. If this was a big bowl and there was water on the top of your lower tummy, you're going to pour that water towards your belly button, and then you're going to pour it towards your pubic bone. And you're going to pour it, towards your belly button, and then towards your pubic bone. So that's the same motion, but just in a different relationship to gravity, laying on your back instead of on all fours. So just note that how the same motion can feel different in a different position. And then we're just going to end by taking that same motion and bringing it up to a seated position for today. So that's all I wanted to clarify with you, was just getting a clean extension and flexion in your pelvis. And it's by no means the only movement pattern that the pelvis does, but it's just where we're starting for some basics. So we're going to come back up to sitting, and I recommend kneeling for this one. And then you can just place your hands on your hips, and now we have tailbone under on an exhale and tailbone lifts on an inhale. Good. Tailbone under and tailbone lifts. And just maybe make a mental note to yourself about which position felt the easiest or hardest, and maybe why. Maybe it wasn't even related to your lower body moving. And let's take a few more. Tailbone under and tailbone lifts, and relax. So that's just kind of where everything emanates from, is clean pelvic movement. And so we will take these little nuggets and build on them next week. If you have any questions for me, you can leave those in the comments below, of course. And even that little bit of tailbone swing happens when you're walking, if you're walking well. So, and I just wanted to remind you also that I mentioned earlier, I'm an intuitive eating coach, and I'm very excited because I have just released my brand new self-paced course. It's called Heal Your Food Story. You can check that out on my website. I will leave that link below, and I also offer free 45-minute taster sessions. So, of course, wellness and mindfulness extends beyond just moving well, it extends into your food life as well. And if you can get both your movement life and your food life working well and running smoothly, then that is an awesome foundation to support all other areas of your life. So if you need a little bit of help improving your relationship with food and your body, then I would be honored to help you with that as well. And that link is also in the description of this video below. So I hope you enjoyed this little bit of a nugget, and I will see you next week with part 2. Take care and bye for now.